Turns out the Giants have some spicy connections that also lost them the game.
Welcome back to the James and Dame Show. I'm Josiah,
And I'm Will.
and we're going to be going over Week 14 recap. Pain. That's all we know at this point. So he didn't feel much pain this weekend because his Ravens weren't playing, so he was fine. But a bunch of other teams were playing, so we need to talk about them. Thursday night game, we got the Packers and Lions. Probably the best Thursday night game we've had so far this year.
It's up there for sure.
It's definitely up there. Can't say I'm surprised, but also I thought the Packers would be able to, regroup, maybe pull out a win against Detroit for once, But, that doesn't work because I also just found out that the Packers have not had all of their wins except one have been against teams that are under 500. The only team that they have beaten that has been over 500 has been the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
And that's it. And the Houston Texans are not very pretty right now. So that's looking a little bit more and more fraudulent as we look at it. So Packers, you need to start racking up some convincing wins very soon because you're going to be playing the Vikings, I think, at some point as well.
They still have to play the Vikings and
Bears. Well, the Bears don't count, but if you can at least beat the Vikings once, I feel like that's fine. And make sure it's actually toward a meaningful game and not like the Vikings are resting their starters, so I'm just going to start playing. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I got you.
But also, other news, Hutchinson might make a comeback if the Lions make it to the NFC Championship, if recovery goes as well as it does. So, looking forward to.
It was long odds, and it will require them to win some playoff games. But I mean,
It's very doable.
especially if they end up with that one seed, they only need to win one game then.
Yeah.
That one seed.
So
So moving along, a game I would like to talk about because, oh boy, was it unexpected, and the definition of a shootout. I would say Bills versus Rams, but it was more like Josh Allen versus the Rams because, surprise, my first set of flowers is going to go to Josh Allen. He had 404 total yards and 6 touchdowns, and he's the only player to have 6 touchdowns and lose. And
now I know how the Bengals has been feeling.
yeah,
Joe Burrow specifically.
there was no defense. And I'm not surprised necessarily that the Rams let up that much because of how Josh Allen's been playing, but Bills defense, where did it go?
Left it back at Buffalo.
I do have like an honorary set of flowers for Puka Nacua because
He did really well.
bro is second most receiving yards on the week and added a receiving and rushing touchdown. He was
good.
a menace. But yeah, Josh Allen really making an MVP case. I don't know.
Little news here and there. According to Brandon Graham, during the Eagles and Panthers game after the press conference, apparently Hurts and Brown don't have a great relationship. And A.J. Brown went on to a small interview and said the passing game is what the Eagles need to improve on. So I don't,
because it
because
definitely was the running game.
it was definitely the running game. Yes. So I guess, I mean, being pretty close to losing to the Panthers is not a easy feat, I would say. Leggett did drop the game-tying touchdown. I did see that, but
it would have won the game.
it would have won the game, yes, but it was
I just briefly, I want to give so much respect to the Panthers for how they've turned around this year. They've played the now Chiefs, which is but also the Eagles very closely. They played the Buccaneers very closely. They've turned like a new leaf, and
They're different.
they've turned into a respectable team. Not like respectable as in like they're gonna win a bunch of games, but like not someone who you can go up. I don't know that any team can go against them the rest of the year. I don't know if you feel great about it. Like I don't know if
No.
you feel confident that it's an easy game.
If this was like first half season, oh, definitely. People would say like, it's just the Panthers. We'll smoke them.
Yeah,
Not so much now.
yeah.
I think the team to be saying, don't worry about them. They're such a weak team. That would be the Giants this year.
There's a lot of teams that not to be worried about, really. Panthers just have really jumped away from that, and so like just respect to them. It's just I just want to give them the respect.
Now the next game is the Jets and Dolphins. I don't know what the Dolphins were doing towards the first half because the Jets were leading at some point. Jets going Jets. They did lose the game. Tua actually has been really impressive since he came back from his injury. He has 15 touchdowns and 1 interception that entire time.
Yeah, he's
So very impressive. He has the opposite of whatever CTE was been given to literally everyone else, but he's like the reverse CTE. So good, I guess.
he goes. My CTE gives me power.
Power, I guess. Hopefully, he's still mentally there. However, this does bring up the first one on the chopping block. New York Jets. Took a while, but here you are. I mean, I should have seen this coming. Aaron Rodgers in New York, it sounded good, but knowing how cursed that franchise is, that ain't going to happen. So, unfortunately for you guys, you're gone. But
Yeah, I mean, we can keep it up with the chopping going because we got another game that is not worth talking about, but got someone getting some chopping between the Jaguars and the Titans,
terrible score, 10-6.
10-6.
I looked at that score. I'm like, that sounds like a Tank Bowl esque score. So I was not disappointed. The Mac Jones is still awful. The fact that you lost to Mac Jones and the Jaguars right now is pretty eye-opening, I would say. So Tennessee Titans, this has been long overdue as well because we also knew that you weren't going to be good this year, especially with how you've been playing at the beginning of the year. Levis might have some potential, but it's a very iffy statement. So, be gone.
Yeah, I just want to say, like, as far as winners and losers go for the week, there is no winner here because Titans, you lost to the Jaguars with Mac Jones, which is just embarrassing. That was like that was your one chance to be like, hey, we have some hope or some like make it look better.
There is no hope.
Jaguars, I mean, you cost yourself a draft position, which like again with the team you have and the talent you have, you shouldn't be this bad. But with that being the case, you're already eliminated. You could have been able to squeak out like a much better player than what you probably should have been able to get in the draft this year. And you kind of just like, I don't know, you put yourself behind the Titans draft order wise. So that's just like a lose-lose.
Very much a lose-lose.
But we'll move along. Do you want
To the final one that has been eliminated, though.
get the trifecta?
Yes. The Cleveland Browns versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm not surprised. The Steelers were angry since you guys beat them the last time. It was only fair that you did lose to them this time.
Ow. That boy, Kadarius Toney making his return. And
What a return.
the question is, what is funnier? Actually, there's 3 things that I can talk about Kadarius Toney. What is funnier? There's one. He muffed a punt late in the game, which basically ended the game. He got a taunting penalty on a fair catch.
Yep.
by tossing the ball at an opponent
Opponent, yeah.
on a fair catch, on a punt. And then there's number 3, which is out of all, I believe it is 240 receivers in fantasy, and there's like 50 of them who have 0 points. He comes dead last with negative 0.8. Which is the funniest to you?
See, I knew about the first 2. That third one really sells it. That sounds like a Kadarius Toney stat.
Element of surprise, I take it.
Yeah, it was a surprise. I didn't think about that. No.
You tell me which one you thought was the funniest. That was just,
Yeah, but because since you guys have Kadarius Toney, unfortunately, you guys have to go as well.
yes, that's why they have to go.
Yes. Or at least at the moment, that's the reason why they went. So.
I see.
Luckily, this axe will not be used for the rest of this, but it will return.
It craves more.
It needs more.
It needs more.
Moving on, though.
Yeah, just a few other ones from that early window. I'd like to talk about the maybe the one that'll clarify kind of the intro if people don't know in the Giants Saints. So this was just funny. The Giants lost on a game-losing missed field goal after driving the field in like, what was it, less than a minute?
Yep.
And there are jokes going around on the internet about how, well, this actually happened. An anonymous Giants player bought an OnlyFans model a ticket to the game and specifically asked them to flash the Saints players. And it is just funny to me because there's just the jokes going around that the Giants kicker got distracted and that's why he missed. Because he got distracted by the OnlyFans model. But it was just, I don't know. I think it's really funny. Saints, or Giants, I guess. Giants just losing in Giants fashion. And
Yeah.
It's that one. Other than there's not much to talk about. It wasn't a pretty game.
I mean, if you're flying a plane over the stadium saying "Save this dumpster fire," then you've really lost it. But also on the other side of the ball, season career-ending injury for Derek Carr. I did see that. I don't know what it was. I think it was I know he got taken out of the game for like concussion evaluation, but he also had like a hand or wrist injury.
I think broken hand or wrist. I don't remember exactly. It was an arm injury though.
Yeah, so he's not going to be playing for the rest of the season. So
not like they were playing for much.
No, they're doing their best to continue to be around that 500 range, so they can't get a good draft pick again. They're doing it again.
But keeping it moving along, another one just being the Kirk Cousins revenge game, which was
terrible.
Was good until the fourth quarter, and then utter chaos. It was actually, I think, tied. It was tied going into the fourth quarter, 21-21, and then Vikings scored 21 unanswered in the fourth. That does actually lead to my second set of flowers, which does go to Sam Darnold for ruining Kirk Cousins' revenge game. 22 for 38, 345 or 47 yards.
He's making his case right now. He might not be like a favorite right now, but if you had to pick your MVP from the Vikings, Sam Darnold.
He might be up there. I think he might win Comeback Player of the Year.
Oh, he definitely will.
I think he's
definitely
due for that. As he's, again, kind of putting himself together a Baker-like year from last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, good for him. Second set of flowers. Game just way out of hand. And, yeah.
Jefferson actually caught his first touchdown in that game since week 6. He got 2 that game.
Yeah.
So, good for him. However, looking at Kirk Cousins, 0 touchdowns and about 8 interceptions in the last few games.
Yeah, I actually was going to ask you, who do you think is to blame for the Falcons skid? Because I know a lot's going to go on Kirk Cousins, and I think there's...
Yeah, I I want to say, I'd say partially Kirk Cousins. He's not up to form again. I think he's starting to regress a little bit, so I think that's a part of an issue. But I think the majority of the blame should go on the coaches right now. I don't think the receivers are terrible. Like, he has a good team around him. I think it's just schematics and just forcing him to have long passes or something might not work a whole lot. I don't know. I mean, he's starting to regress a little bit, especially with like his movement and his throwing abilities. I do believe it's just they're trying too much. I think that's what they're doing. I think they're trying to force it. I'm not sure. I haven't seen all of the games recently. I've seen clips and I've seen other situations from the internet, but I don't know. It doesn't look all that promising. I'm going to be completely honest.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on basically the 2 points, it being Kirk Cousins or the coaching, and it could come down to both. There's been a lot of calls for Michael Penix.
Yeah, I've been hearing that. So
I think they're sticking with Cousins right now, which is interesting. We'll see how that goes going forward.
maybe that's why they got Penix in the draft.
But yeah, guess going on, going to maybe the afternoon window. Just because I mean we can touch on it slightly, but last of the noon window was Buccaneers Raiders, and it was just garbage.
O'Connell is out for the season though. He did get injured. I will say though, him almost throwing a touchdown pass while falling, being tripped up by his own lineman, it was pretty impressive. I'm not gonna lie. However, it's unfortunate. I'm going to say this, and it's really weird saying this. O'Connell hasn't been awful the last few games, or at least the ones that he started where he's looked good. Especially was it against the Chiefs? He was actually doing really well. This game he wasn't doing awful. It's just the Buccaneers are just better overall, so it just didn't work out. So he's not terrible. I mean, O'Connell probably would be probably an all right backup for a while, depending on who they get in this draft. But we'll see. But yeah, that's all I gotta say for that game. And Tampa Bay also leads that division now.
They do, because of the Falcons' collapse, and like no one else being any. I mean, Saints, Panthers are a mess. Well,
yeah,
Panthers
Falcons.
less now,
it was the same thing as last year. Falcons had a lead and then collapsed, and then the Buccaneers took it. So
yeah, just last year the Saints were in the mix. So now we'll move on to the afternoon window. Not anything interesting really out of the Seahawks Cardinals.
Geno Smith is 5-0 against Murray.
Interesting.
He is. I found that out on a stat sheet, and I was like, interesting.
Yeah.
So there you go, a little tidbit there. This is the last afternoon game.
No, because we just talked about it. Yeah.
Chicago Bears. 4 whole yards
in
the first half.
And
I could walk across my apartment and back into my room, and I would still have more total yards than you guys had that first half, which is hilarious.
Yeah. So I knew Eberflus was a problem. I didn't know that the Bears would be so bad without him, and I didn't know the defense would struggle that much without him.
They are playing the 49ers at San Francisco, so they're not really ready for that in general. So,
but like they're missing a lot of pieces. They're not playing well this year. It's the Niners.
The Niners have a number on the NFC North, if I'm going to be completely honest. The NFC North is not good against the Niners.
Yeah.
Or at least in the recent memory. So
that was a really poor showing. So.
Yeah.
There's the Chargers-Chiefs game, which if you want to know how the live stream went, and they got it.
Oh my gosh, Chargers! You are the dumbest team ever. Every game. Are you kidding me? There is no way. You should be 8-5 right now.
Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes must get a 3-peat.
They are not a good team. it's still the Chiefs. We're still really good. No, you're not. It's every final drive. It's overall, I'd say a pretty sloppy game. It was not great football to watch. I mean, knowing the Chargers, low scoring game, it makes sense. But Kansas City Chiefs are have officially made a deal with like the devil or something, because like there's no way. I don't know how they get away with this stuff. It's just they're gonna go to the playoffs and get smacked the first round if they're gonna be playing like this for the rest of the season. So, or that contract goes all the way to the Super Bowl and they win it again. So we'll see where it ends.
Black magic. I also just realized that the score to this game was the same as the score to the Raiders game.
Yeah.
Exactly same score.
Yeah.
Chiefs home both times.
What about the Broncos game? Because that was also on a blocked field goal.
That's a good question. It was 14-16.
Close enough.
It was close. I mean, that's just what you get when all your games are low scoring, is similar stuff like that.
The Chiefs are not good this year. They are literally. I saw a compilation on the internet of how the Chiefs could currently be. What was it? Before this, no, including this game, it was either 4-9 or 5-8. They literally could be 5-8 right now, if it was for 6 different plays, or seven different plays. And I looked at that and I was like, fair. If it was a coin toss, it would literally be, they would literally be bottom barrel this year, but they're not, obviously. Black magic.
Magic, but
they won't last long, I think. We'll see. I don't know. The Chargers are still a good team, so I'm not mad at them or disappointed at all. I just think they just got cheated out of a win in the sense that they went up against the luckiest team in NFL history. So,
true. Very true.
But we should move on to the Monday night game, which I had a field day looking at all the news and information from this game.
I'm okay. I just
I'll let you get your piece out.
the Cowboys losing off of a blocked punt. Not they didn't technically lose off of that play, but
It led to them losing. Yeah.
them losing off of a punt that they blocked, which gave the Bengals the ball and allowed them to drive down and score out on Jamar Chase touchdown. But yeah, game was crazy. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase going off again, which I have a rule, which is I will not give 2 players from the same game a set of flowers, or 2 different sets of flowers. So instead, I'm giving Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow my 3rd set of flowers because I couldn't decide which one. Who do you want? The guy that had 177 yards, almost half of Joe Burrow's receptions, and 2 touchdowns, which is already crazy, or the guy that went 33 for 44, 369 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Which one do you want? Pick and choose. I went with both because I couldn't, and I've had to do it before, and I won't do it again. So Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, probably the most electric duo this year. You get my 3rd set of flowers.
Sweet. I got a little bit of information from this. Chase Brown with the Zeke Selly and the Salvation Army kettle. That was pretty fun to see. I don't know if that touchdown counted or not. I missed that part of the game. Patriots have been reported to really want T. Higgins. It makes sense because T. Higgins can be a pretty reliable receiver. Patriots think they found their guy in Drake May. So that's news. However, the NFL once again has not been able to define what a face mask is and did not call a face mask penalty on the Dallas Cowboys for a very obvious face mask. This is like the third or 4th week in a row where there's been like at least 2 face masks throughout that week, and they did not call them. It's not one crew that's not calling it. It's everybody. And I don't know what's going on. So referees, please fix that, because I don't want to see a decapitated quarterback or receiver or defender on the field. Please, just saying. I did see news that McCarthy looks like he's going to be staying in Dallas, according to Troy Aikman, according to him, which is an interesting. But also, please keep him because it makes us all laugh.
This is true.
However, towards the end of the game, I'm very disappointed in a player known as Micah Parsons. Not shaking the opponent's hands was very disrespectful just by itself, but also walking off the field and then crying to the press. I mean, I understand that the game is a pretty emotional game. It's a very rough game in general. I mean, that's what football is. It's just a very competitive game. But he's got to wake up and realize that you can't pout, especially in the professional league, and it doesn't get your way. It doesn't go your way because it will not go your way because that's not how reality works. That's not how the adult world works. I do, however, there was one thing that I did agree with, that he did say that he feels bad about the players around him. Like, he feels like they should be doing better and everything like that. That's fine. I think that's completely valid. And, I honestly agree with him because they still have a pretty good team. It's just unfortunate that Dak Prescott was just out for the season. They've been losing players here and there, and it's just unfortunate turn of events. But the way he went about it was not appropriate in my eyes. It's just whining about it, not shaking your opponent's hand, showing good sportsmanship. Yeah, that would be nice to show. But, Parsons, he's going to go complain about it on his podcast and not do anything. He also had nothing to show for that game, too. I was at 0 sacks, 0 pressures and everything. He didn't do anything that game. So I don't want to hear anything from him.
Yeah, I just have like 2 closing thoughts for this game. One being DeMarvion Overshown suffered an injury.
Yes, he did suffer an injury.
And it was
knee surgery. He's going to have knee surgery. He's going to miss the rest of the season.
Yes.
It was like 3 in 1. It was like ACL.
3 ligaments.
Yeah, ACL.
It was ACL,
MLC,
MCL, and PCL.
MCL and PCO.
All of his CLs. All of them gone.
Hopefully he gets a speedy recovery. That sounds like it hurts. So please get better. We'll send prayers and everything, but
yeah,
that's rough. Like, that's not good at all. So I'm hoping he can recover as fast as he can. Yeah. So
I saw when the mention of his injury, and they weren't sure if he would be back by the end of the year, but at
this point, it's not going to happen. So.
And then the last thing, which has been an ongoing thing this year, and is another case, is Joe Burrow's home was burglarized during the game.
I did see that today.
At least the third set, because it was, I believe, Patrick Mahomes,
Travis Kelce, and Joe Burrow have been their houses have been raided. I don't know what kind of lunatic is going around burglarizing people's homes. That is not acceptable. I don't care if they're Chiefs players. I don't care if they're Bengals players. I don't care if they're just a player I just generally don't like. Don't do that. Obviously, we're not the police or anything, but like, what in your right mind thinks that is like morally correct to do? Maybe he's Batman because, he did purchase the Batmobile. Maybe he's the Batman. And maybe the guy who burglarized him is the Joker. I don't know. Maybe we got a real life Batman here.
I don't know. But
his point still being, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's just like, if you're anyone who even considers doing that, just what is wrong with you? That is not okay. And it's disappointing to see that people are taking advantage of that.
However, to end off on a different note, we're going to go over power rankings here. Go through our top 10s. I'll start my number 10. They had a bye week, so they didn't move. Washington Commanders, still at number 10. So there was no reason for them to move.
How convenient. My number 10 also had a bye week. It's the Denver Broncos. Didn't move. Just because.
Yeah.
Didn't move, didn't play. They were encroached by some people behind them, but unfortunately, those teams were not able to surpass them because Broncos have been good. They've been good. So they keep the 10.
I have the Broncos at number 9. They also had a bye week, so they also didn't move. So very interesting how all these bye weeks happen for these top teams right now. So the Broncos didn't move. Same reasons. Bo Nix is playing well. I can only imagine what Jerry Jeudy would be for Bo Nix if he was still on the Broncos team right now. I bet they're regretting that just a little bit. Yeah. We'll see. Number 9 for you?
My number 9 is the same as it was last week. Also the Commanders.
What? No way.
They're just a little flip-flop there. Like you mentioned, they're just a good team on bye, so they're not going to move. I'll let you go on to number 8, though. I'll keep it short.
Ooh, this one dropped. You dropped. I have the Packers. Packers dropped. They lost to the Lions. While it was a close game, all the teams that did play that were in my top 10 won their games. So unfortunately, you had to be the scapegoat and you had to drop. So Packers are still good. It's just unfortunate that they ran into the Detroit Lions. I thought you were going to pull off a win, but I was mistaken. Apparently, I can't trust you guys too. So,
yeah. I swear we don't look at each other's power rankings.
we have similar mindsets, so I'm not that surprised.
Yeah, my number 8 is also the Packers. I'm guessing it'll shift around a bunch. Following this, I'm praying. Otherwise, it's gonna look really It's gonna look really weird. But I have the Packers at 8 just because again you lost. Some teams won. It's just a case of you lost to a top team, but you still lost. You're not good team still. Just I don't know. Some teams looking better currently.
Yeah. So. Number 7, good old Vikings. They're finally moving back up a little bit. While they did beat the Falcons, I guess. It was a revenge game technically for Kirk Cousins. But they're starting to get back to form, specifically on the passing offense. Sam Darnold is really good. Justin Jefferson has scored 2 touchdowns that game, so he's finally getting some touchdowns. Jordan Addison also went down, and he had 3 touchdowns. So it was only a matter of time before the Vikings moved back up. And they're also 11-2. So having them at 7 feels kind of bad, but also these other teams are just better. They just went up against more tough opponents. So
yeah, this one pains me. I have the Ravens down at 7.
wow.
Just because they were on bye.
Yeah.
So
they didn't move.
They didn't do anything wrong. They did drop. But they dropped because they've been dropping because they haven't been playing well, and the Vikings again with a commanding win. Their Vikings played well, so the Vikings got to jump them, and the Ravens dropped just because, you're on bye, but you're the one case I believe in here of someone actually dropping because someone passed them, not because of anything you did. So, unfortunate.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Number 6 though, Pittsburgh Steelers. You played the Browns. You did move up a spot, but you're still not. You didn't beat like the Bills or Eagles or whatever. You didn't beat anybody good. So, congrats! You beat a 3-9 team.
Yeah. At number 6, this is where I have the Vikings. I didn't have them jumping too much. I didn't have them jump too high, even though it would have felt really good to put them up higher. But they're
not up there quite yet for me.
They're on the edge, and if things continue the way they've been going, I can see them sneaking up there. But yeah, Sam Darnold, Justin Jefferson, offense coming together, defense already being really good. Just looking more and more like a top 5 team every week.
Indeed. Number 5. still applies to my bottom two teams in the top tens. Baltimore Ravens. They didn't drop. They didn't go up because they had a bye week. So they stayed put.
Yeah, I mean, my number 5 is the same because they're gonna stay top 5 with the record they have. But when you win the games the way you do, you're gonna be at the bottom of the top 5 because at least the other teams are they're earning their top 5-ness
Gee, I
while they're
wonder
just
which one it is.
winning. Yeah, it is the Kansas City Chiefs because I'm sick of your bullshit. Stop it. Yeah, if you had lost like any of these, if you lost just a few of these games, you'd be like maybe not even top 10 because I have some 5-loss team. There are several 5-loss teams that are not in here. And if you were at 5 losses, you would not be in this top 5.
Oh,
top 10.
No.
So,
Unfortunately, we do live in the wrong timeline or the very cursed timeline. I don't know what to tell. I don't know. The man upstairs, he dictates everything. So, Kansas City Chiefs, they're at number 4 right now. They always find ways to win. They're also 12-1, so you can't refute that record. But also, that record is very fraudulent right now. Like I said earlier, they're only a few plays away from being 5-8 right now. So they are not very convincing in my eyes. So yeah, it's whatever. But now, what is your number 4?
my number 4 is the Steelers.
Okay.
They did not move because they won
Yeah, they won.
in solid fashion over the Browns. Browns are, especially for the Steelers, I feel like are probably like the most concerning team to play. I feel like they kind of have a number on the Ravens and the Bengals, but for some reason it's the Browns that they struggle with.
Yeah.
Which I just think is funny. So
Yeah.
the Steelers basically just winning because of more Browns incompetence more than anything.
Yep. They keep shooting themselves in the foot. So
Steelers, you win against
wow.
a bad division opponent that you struggle with. You stay in the same spot. I mean, I'm not going to drop you under the Chiefs because
You're still better than the Chiefs, in my opinion.
but
Also, the Chiefs are up higher because they have a better record and everything else. So that's why they're not higher on my list. But I do think the Steelers are technically better power-wise. But
as much as
these are the power rankings, so it's like,
as much as it pains me to have the Steelers in the top 5 and above the Ravens, it is funny that I have them above the Chiefs, and that's part of the reason why I'm there. Because I'm like, you are better.
The Steelers are better, yes, but also the Chiefs are 12-1, so it's
funny.
kind of hard to not get them in the top 10.
Either
or top
way,
5.
I think it's funnier as much as it pains me, and so that's where they're at. Screw it, Chiefs. Anyways, on to number 3.
Number 3, the Buffalo Bills. While it was a shootout, a little disappointing from the defense. I mean, you were bound to drop a game at some point, so I'm not that surprised. Luckily, it was against the Rams because now we got to see what a healthy Rams offense looks like. Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp on the same team, same time. Oh, it looks beautiful. And Matthew Stafford still hasn't regressed at all. He's still the same old Stafford, so he's still kicking.
He do be kicking.
But yeah, Buffalo Bills are number 3 right now because Josh Allen is currently my MVP favorite right now. So
Yeah, there's a lot
Barkley
of
is a very close second.
there's a lot of competition. That's a conversation for another day because there's some numbers that need to be looked at.
Yep.
But for today, we'll stick with just the power rankings, and it's getting kind of hard to. I have a feeling that this is going to go a certain way. My number 3 is also the Bills because again they lost, and again to a very good Rams offense. The defense just no defense in that game whatsoever. Josh Allen working. He played Joe Burrow simulator for a week. You know.
He tried it out. Didn't
Probably.
Want it. Yeah, I don't think he
wasn't
wants
a
to
fan.
play that. No,
He wasn't a fan, but spectacular performance there. It's why I didn't drop him super far. Also, the Rams again playing very good.
they're still a good
pretty
team.
good.
If they're
Still
healthy,
pretty
Rams are a good team. So
So that's why I have them at 3 is just because, again, you still lost, but you played a good game against a team that can be very scary. So 3 for you.
Gee, I wonder what the other two are. Number 2, I have the Philadelphia Eagles. While you did win, you won against the Panthers, I guess. But the only reason why you're number 2 is because the Bills lost. I mean, I still think the Bills are slightly better than you, but also it also depends on the week, I guess. Like, I know these are power rankings, but these are also like weird power rankings in my opinion, because I do think the Steelers are better than the Chiefs, but the Chiefs in reality are still better than the Steelers. Like, if that makes sense. I don't know how to explain it. It's a weird limbo.
Nonsense.
Shut up. All right, whatever.
My number 2 is also the Eagles, and it is mostly for the reason that, again, I think they are a good team. I think they can contend for a team that might be better than the Bills. Not in the same way. They're not having a Josh Allen level performance. They are having Saquon Barkley, who is doing phenomenal, and their defense has been very good. They have, I believe, 2 games where they just didn't show up at all, but the rest of the season, they've been really good defense. Very good team. And I know you mentioned how they barely beat the Panthers, but also so did the Chiefs. And I also just give the Panthers credit because I think they've turned stuff around. Bryce Young is looking potentially like an actual franchise QB. The team is playing very well. Again, you mentioned, and we've mentioned before, they came about that close to
they were close.
losing to the Panthers. But the Panthers, they've been good, so I'm not going to knock the Eagles for losing to a much improved, albeit still 3-10 team, a much improved 3-10 team. And then there's number 1, who, surprise, let me guess. We're both the Lions still because you beat.
How long have they been up at number 1 right
now? I believe since the Chiefs lost. At least I believe that's. No.
No,
it was
not. It's
it was prior to
before that, yeah.
It was prior to that. I don't know.
At least for me, it's been a while. We just need difference. We just need something different for once. And it's finally been their time, and I'm happy for that. So, like I said before, Lions-Bills Super Bowl will feed generations. So that's what I'm hoping for. Or at least that's like the most ideal Super Bowl for me. So here we are.
True.
But yeah, here we are.
Here we are at the end of our Week 14 recap. We're like around the corner. We're gonna get to start talking playoff scenarios, all that stuff. So fun, so exciting. Yippee!
Okay. All right. Yeah, 4 more weeks.
4 more weeks of regular season, and then we got playoffs, baby. So, thank you for joining us. You like the content? Like the video? Like a lot of the content? Subscribe. You like or dislike anything that I've ever said or him? Comment too. Yeah. Thanks for joining us. We look forward to seeing you in the next video. And
see ya.
bye.
See ya.